that movie.
I
What?
love that movie.
Did you really?
The one with Will Smith?
Yeah. I hated that movie.
Is it because
Yeah.
of the giant spider?
Yeah, it was just weird. It was a weird movie. That song too, Wow Wow West. I can't. Oh man, I just can't.
Wild
West. Oh man.
Wasn't it like was it Kevin Smith telling the story? Like he wanted, he was gonna direct like some superhero movie, and then they was like, oh yeah, I want like this giant spider in it. And then later on, he was like, no, I'm cool. And then Wild Wild West comes out with a giant.
Right? I don't know, man. I just like that South Park made fun of it after because like Cartman was just running around going wow wow wow. Sorry guys, ran off on a tangent. Pop culture news.
Namor has been announced for Black Panther 2.
Namor is being announced for Black Panther 2, but if you know Black Panther, you know that Namor and Black Panther sort of go together at times, quite a bit. They have a bromance.
Fans are divided.
Fans are divided. Why?
Because the passing of
Oh yeah,
Chadwick
Chadwick Boseman.
It's not gonna be a proper storyline. They have a whole lot.
Yeah. What else? What other pop culture news? Loki drops tonight at midnight, so
Yes.
please watch that. Anything else?
Batwing is about to come live action.
Oh, Batwing live action. Hopefully they can fix his unibrow on that suit that I hate.
Wow.
It's there though, isn't it? It's gonna be there.
I think we went over this. Did I tell you this?
Yeah, but I mean, if Luke Fox is getting a show, then that means we might actually see Jace Fox at some point, right?
I'm a strong advocate for bringing in Duke Thomas.
Yes.
into the CW universe.
Please bring in Duke. Duke Thomas is probably my favorite member of the Bat family.
Stephanie Brown's been in
Never
the
gets any love. Yeah, Stephanie Brown spoilers there. But yeah, Duke Thomas for sure. The Signal is such a dope character and
He's
just
an
doesn't get
underrated
enough playtime.
character.
What?
He's an underrated character.
Yep.
I think me and you were both talking about that.
I want a Signal hat. Like, I desperately want a Signal
If I
hat.
could find one, I would grab it for you in a heartbeat.
What else? Any other news? What's that show? Sweet Tooth just dropped on Netflix.
Yes.
I haven't watched it yet, so I couldn't tell you. And I've never read Sweet Tooth comic.
So it's probably gonna be good because it was by Lemire.
Oh, okay. So Jeff Lemire wrote it, so it's probably good. What else? Any other pop culture news?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head.
We did announce last week that Donnie Cates, YouTube, you missed me out. You missed out on last week. I'm sorry. We didn't have Yogi's laptop, and Yogi wasn't here. He had family emergency. We announced last week that Donnie Cates is going to be doing Hulk, and Al Ewing from Hulk is going to be doing Venom. So they've swapped Marvel's two best writers, in my opinion.
Top 3.
Saw that coming. Oh yeah, because I didn't include Jason Aaron.
No, get Aaron because he's forgetting about continuity. I was reporting to Hickman.
Did you just say,
Oh, Hickman, yeah. Okay.
did you just say forget Aaron? He's out the door now.
How can you say forget Aaron? You don't like Aaron? Jason Aaron?
No, it's like he was pretty good, but lately he's kind of been messing continuity up a little bit. And then he was the one behind Heroes Reborn, so we'll see how that goes.
Well, I mean, the Heroes Reborn stuff does feel like a burn, but it's supposed to, because like that last issue is going to feel amazing.
True, but then I'm just talking about how he started introducing like the first mutants way before like Selene.
Yeah. Fair. I guess Nate's mutant fandom has chimed in and said that Jason Aaron's out for the top 3.
He's still up there, just not top 3.
We actually had an order from Matthew Rosenberg, who ordered a bunch of trades. He does this. He orders a lot of from a lot of local comic shops through Comic Hub, all over the. I guess I can't call them local. A lot of comic shops all over the nation. He orders at, and I sent him a message and was like, "Yo, let me fanboy because I have a Punisher. What is it? 518 Punisher War Machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got that signed by you on my wall. So let me fanboy for a minute, man." And so then he sent back. He was like, "Oh yeah, I mean, because we charged him too much for freight. So I was like, let me refund you." And he's like, "If you don't refund me though, I can hold it over Donnie's head next time I take him out to dinner." And he said I just tell him I paid too much for his book. And I was like, yeah, you just did. Matthew Rosenberg just name dropped Donnie Cates.
That was the best email exchange I've seen ever.
That was a nice thing to wake up to. That was a good day. Anyways, we need to send Rosenberg a T-shirt because I didn't include any bonus stuff in that package.
Yogi's working on that.
Yeah, I need to. Anyways, let me get to the show. First book on the list this week. It's not our pick of the week, but it was pretty close. Pretty close. Jason Aaron, Erica DeRosso, and Jason Keith. This is Heroes Reborn. And if you can't tell, the tagline says the last utopian meets the last son of the gods. This is going to essentially be the bastardization of Wonder Woman in the Squadron Supreme. What's her name again? Do you remember? Power Princess. Bad taste in my mouth.
She is utopian, which is pretty much equal to like
Amazonian.
As an Amazonian.
Yeah, utopian Amazonian. Anyways, so she encounters a Norse god she's never heard of, a god of the storms. And it plays out exactly how you want it to play out, actually. I had a good time with this one. Granted, I'm still mad that it's a slap in the face to Wonder Woman, but whatever. The DC fanboy in me sets that aside and says that Jason Aaron is weaving a good tale, and it's one that's supposed to hurt right now. I need to kill the music before I get a copyright strike. Woo! Sorry, just background music, guys. Please don't bust me, YouTube. Anyways, is it good? Yes, it's good. It's totally worth the price of admission. It was almost our pick of the week. The art is amazing. The storyline's really good, and we're building towards the last issue. There's one more issue to go. We're finally going to put the world right. It's going to feel better after. Next is Cantwell Keifu Dharmata, and we're talking about Iron Man. Now, this issue in particular does not actually center around Iron Man. It centers around some people he's been chasing for a minute, and it plays out pretty good. Is it the best Iron Man issue? No, not really. I kind of like his new team and what's been going on, and him being, I think he's got his back broken right now, and he can't even take off his suit because he'll die.
If he takes off his suit, he'll die instantly.
Yeah, it's like holding him together. It's kind of cool. What?
No.
But it's been a really, really fun run. This one does sadly feel a little bit like filler. I mean, it's some backstory on the villains and stuff like that. It's okay. The art is really, really good, and I mean ridiculously good. And the covers, yeah, that's an Alex Ross. The covers are outstanding. We will have this on our shelf. Come get it. Next is a book that Cam loves, Zdarsky, Ferry, and Hollingsworth. And then is Spider-Man, Spider Shadow. Now, we can finally talk about that last issue. Spidey has not given up the symbiote, and as such has an anger problem. And it literally just started beating the crap out of villains and like essentially killing a lot of them and saying, like, you've been enough trouble. Like, mankind's better off without you walking under our sky. And although it felt a bit cathartic where you're like, yeah, some of them had it coming. It's not very Spidey. But Cam, you've been loving it, right? You like the Stark stuff. I'm happy to say that if you like the Stark stuff, this issue will be really, really, really good. And if you've been wanting it to grow a little bit, you were wondering, like, where can they go when they've stunted Peter Parker in such a way? Well, they're going to take it to a new level, and it was kind of interesting. It was pretty fun. So oddly enough, I'd say definitely don't skip that issue this week. I wasn't a huge fan of the beginning of it because I was like, whoa, this is kind of sacred here. You're sort of hurting me. Vida Ayala, Paco Medina, and David Curiel. We're talking about Children of Adam. I really like this team. They all sort of look like knockoff X-Men characters, and they are mutants, right? We've confirmed this. They can travel through the gates to Krakoa. They're just not. And they did encounter the X-Men, and they think of the first one. And more importantly, they've got a bunch of tech that is new that they don't fully understand. And I always kind of like those stories where characters are experimenting with stuff, trying to get to the bottom and figure out their power sets and whatever else. So The Children of Adam is a really, really, really fun read. The art's really good. The storyline's good. Next is Hickman, Dragata, Dodderman, Wernick, and Pacelli. Let's all take a moment of silence for Hickman's last X-Men book. Okay. Hellfire Gala. This is not the wrap-up to Hellfire Gala, though. There's still a dinner, right? But this is definitely Hickman's last book.
Yeah, for this run,
Yeah, for this run. We're going to finally get to see the beginnings of that fireworks show that they've sort of referenced a few times. And we're going to see a little bit more of the politics that were going on that they only showed clips of. Like they showed the British ambassador storming out and they didn't fully explain it. Well, now we're getting more bits and pieces of it. We also still don't know what Reed Richards said to Professor X. He whispered something and walked off. And Professor X, well, it's hard to gauge whether or not that bothered him or didn't. Because, I mean, we can't see his eyes because he's always wearing Cerebro. What is he looking at in that thing anyways? What do you think he's looking at everything, right?
I have a couple ideas.
Amplified telepathy. He's got that going on, and he's got a little monitor where he's constantly watching Rick and Morty. Like, I kind of think that that's what Professor X is doing in there. Maybe he's building the ultimate wheelchair for when it finally happens. I don't know. Every time I see him walking around, I'm like, this is pepperoni. Something's going to happen, dude. Like, we've seen this on every timeline. Okay. Anyways, X-Men issue number 21. Is it great? It's amazing. It's amazing. But again, these are X-Men we don't actually know, and it's wild. They've taken it in so many new directions. Hickman, you brilliant mad scientist, you.
And we definitely know something will happen because of Way of X.
Way of X. We do know something is lurking, and we finally. I can talk about it. Finally. Let's talk about it because it's a couple weeks old now.
Oh, Way of X.
Dude.
No, not Way of X. What was it? Hellions.
Yeah.
So,
your boy.
Okay, so during X of Swords, they had an exchange on a bridge, and Mr. Sinister encountered a character that could change, that had the power to change their form. And I think they needed blood, but they could change into whoever they had it. And I said from the very beginning that Mr. Sinister didn't walk out of that bridge. Like that wasn't our Mr. Sinister. And they just let it go for like, how many issues has it been? Like 6 months?
7 issues.
7 months. They let it go for 7 months, and they let this Mr. Sinister just be himself and everything else. And we get to the end of Hellions this month, and lo and behold, another Mr. Sinister with scars across his face comes crawling out, and he's like, "Oh, my people, I've finally gotten back to you." And I was like, I knew it. I called that crap. So I'm happy. I'm happy that came to pass. Next is Scotty Young, Humberto Ramos, and Edgar Delgado. If you don't know, this is the amazing Strange Academy. Yes, this issue is damaged. Yes, we keep getting damaged books from Diamond. I don't know what to tell you guys. But we have plenty of copies. I will say they were trying to figure out who shattered Toth. So when you're figuring out who shattered Toth, you need to call in somebody, right? Maybe a detective. Who's the most unlikely detective you would call to the Strange Academy? Yeah, probably that's pretty unlikely. He's in another universe. But they call in, wait for it, Howard the Duck. Yes, Howard the Duck is in a comic right now. So anytime Howard's in it, I'm pretty happy. So yeah, that reason alone is totally worth it. The story's great. It's fun. I love everything about the Strange Academy cast. Even though I didn't know any of these characters before this, I fall in love with them. Come get it. It's amazing. Scotty Young has put together a masterpiece here. Next is Van Lente, Karatu, Diaz, Otis Main Elu. And we're talking about Dynamite Lives. But more importantly, who's that on the cover with the chainsaw hand?
Hail to the king, baby.
Hail to the king, baby. Bruce Campbell. Ash from Housewares. But what's Ash's last name?
Williams?
Yeah, Ash Williams. That's right. Ash Williams. Yeah. Anyways, so we get a comic from him, and yes, you get his sense of humor, and it feels like what was that TV show he did recently? It was based on the Army of Darkness, but it was called something else. Ash versus the Evil Dead. That's what it was. Ash versus the Evil Dead, and it had Lucy Lawless in it. Actually,
It did?
yeah, it did. It did. It absolutely did, and it was a really, really good show. And anyways, so then you will get some of that, a taste of that in Dynamite. It's great. It's amazing. We'll have it on our shelves. Come get it. Next is Squadron Savage. Sax Pizzari Lopez. I
Was that bad?
It's just painful. It hurts. And okay, I get it. We get it, guys. Like the Marvel heroes don't know who they are, and we're gonna stomp all over them. So the Punisher is not himself because he has his family and his kids. And then Elektra shows up and offers him a suit with guns, and he leaves them. That's just lazy writing. I'm sorry. It is. It is. And I get it. I get it. Like, we're stomping on our legends here. And we're going to fix the world eventually. But does that feel right to you?
No.
Do you think the Punisher would have left his family and just gone on a killing spree?
No.
Nah.
Don't seem right.
Not until his family is dead. That's what has to happen. Anyways, whatever. I guess. Next is Paul Tobin, Andrea Moody, and Taylor Esposito. We're talking about Bunny Masks. Now, this is an issue 1, and I got to tell you, this storyline it's a strange one. Very, very strange. It involves a little bit of murder, a little bit of mayhem, a cave with a strange composition that seems to mummify people and keep them looking young when they die in it, a bunch of weird symbols written all over the cave walls, and a girl that looks sort of like a zombie wearing a bunny mask. If that sounds like a strange mess, that's because it is. It's a weird storyline that is all over the place. And I'm going to say that this is probably not a buy this week. Not because it's a bad thing. I just want to know where they're going. I want to get a little bit more sense of direction before I tell people to commit to it. If that sounds like something you might like, it will be on our shelves. Pick it up, thumb through it, see if you want to get it. But I'm going to say give it another issue. Give them one more chance to pull in the focus, to draw you in, to say this is the point of everything. Because right now it's a little wild. Is the art good? Yeah, the art's great. The storyline, it's just like they threw a lot at the wall to see what would stick, and it doesn't quite feel right. I'm not sure what it is. Next is Garth Ennis, Goran Suzuku, and Miroslav Merva, and we're talking about Majorie Finnegan, Temporal Criminal. Look, let me be honest. This is Time Bandits with a pretty face. That's what it is. She's just jumping through time, committing pranks and stealing, and they're pretty messed up. And the humor is kind of it's a bit lowbrow at times. I don't hate it. It's weird that this is an Upshot title. It feels very out of place for AWA, but I mean it's okay. If you got a little dark humor or lowbrow humor, and you need a little, like at one point she steals the JFK car after his head's been split open. That's weird and dark. Okay. Is it good? It's okay. It's okay. That's me being nice. Let's go on to the next book. Jeff Johns, Gary Frank, Brad Anderson. We're talking about Geiger #3. Now, this Geiger run, look, Jeff Johns, anything he puts his hand on is going to be amazing. We've seen it. Essentially, he's definitely taken inspiration from Fallout in that Las Vegas is split into tribes that are all casino themed. And one of them has a bone to pick with Geiger, who's a radiation man living out in the desert, camping out front of his family's, vault, nuclear bunker. They've been locked in there, and he's just camping out there, glowing green and haunting the desert. It's really fun. It's good. The storyline's great. The dialogue's great. It's Jeff Johns doing what Jeff Johns does. So, I mean, if you like Jeff Johns, you will absolutely love this. It's just, it's weird because it's so Fallout inspired. Like, you can just pick up right where he's pulled the inspiration from. Is it good? Yes, it's great. Art's great. Honestly, if you're on Geiger, which we have a lot of people on Geiger, you're not going to be disappointed with issue 3. Next is Ruckley Milne Bow. We're talking about the Transformers Annual. Now, I have said it before, and I'll say it again. Transformers it's Game of Thrones meets robots in disguise. There is so much politics, and oddly enough, it really works for me. I've loved the politics, the back and forth, the twists and turns, but currently they are on the big spaceship after they've left Cybertron, and I can't remember that spaceship's name, but it has such a cool name. It's going to drive me nuts. Anyways, this is more of that same good stuff. It's good. The art's great. The storyline's great. If you're a Transformers fan, you should be reading that first. I understand Beast Wars is a big thing with a lot of people. But Cam, are you reading mainline Transformers?
Haven't for a while, to be honest with you.
Wow, just kick me in the junk like that, Cam. Okay. No, it's fine.
That's horrible. Just
It's just not your jam. You're into that Beast Wars stuff, right?
Yes.
Okay. Howard Toe, Arcianega, this is Excalibur. Look, we got to talk about this. A lot of casual fans were on the internet complaining about the costumes in the Hellfire Gala, and we need to talk about this because Excalibur has more of them. And if you haven't figured it out, there is a grand metaphor for the mutants being the flowers of mankind. So essentially, they're flowers in a field. There's a million blades of grass, and there's 2 or 3 flowers, and those are the mutants. So their costumes in the Hellfire Gala represent fauna and different flowers mostly. So like you can see that Betsy Braddock is that Betsy? Yeah, Betsy Braddock is got a carnation theme, and you can see this guy in front. Who is this again? The druid? I can't remember his name.
It slips my mind.
The druid in the front, and he's got like vines growing off of him. They're referencing it's a metaphor, guys. And I like the costumes. They're a bit weird. They're a bit wild, but they're supposed to look like a fashion show. But if you're a casual fan complaining about it because you don't understand the comics, I have comics to sell you, buddy. Come buy House of X, Powers of X. I'll sell you the trade paperback. I have no problems with that. We'll get you up to speed so that you can understand the Hellfire Gala. That's cool. Excalibur is more of that Hellfire Gala. More importantly, you get a betrayal from Britain versus the current Captain Britain, and it's a pretty big betrayal. So we finally get a little bit more to that story in this. Is it good? Yeah, it's good. It's honestly, I had a good time, and I'm saying that as somebody who wasn't fully on board with the Excalibur stuff. I wasn't having the best time. This issue in particular did have a good time, but I really love this Hellfire Gala stuff. I find myself drawn to it. It's kind of an amazing show. So yeah, we'll have that on our shelves. Next is Christopher Umgrad and Thomas Aria. And this is, I'm going to tell you, this is a weird one, but it intrigued me. This is, what if at the end of World War II, the Nazis had a secret bunker in Antarctica where they were going to continue the teachings of Hitler? And somebody infiltrated it. Yeah. So that's, guess what? I've spoiled this whole storyline for you, but I don't know how else to talk about it, number one, without spoiling some of it. It was actually pretty interesting. I had a good time with it. And I don't know, but I like some of that World War II stuff. I like that. So can you add me to Bunny Mask to my bin? Yes. Can we get Bunny Mask for Lahaina? Is that doable? We'll just set it aside, but we'll get it for you, Lahaina. Is it good? Yeah, it's pretty good. It's weird, but again, I like World War II. Do you want a mask version, Lahaina, or do you want the A cover? Because there's one with a literal mask on the variant. It's pretty weird. Anyway, so this, I'd say it's a really good pick. I don't know if it's my indie pick of the week. It feels close though. There's not a lot of indies this week that I can choose from. I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna say this is my indie pick of the week. It's a weird book, but it's a World War II themed book, and of course, like the soldier likes some World War II references. So come check that out. Next is Heroes Reborn, Ayala Karamini, and Arcianega, and I have both these covers because I got to show you what they're going for. This is, I'll take the literal mask one. Can you give her the B cover on the bunny mask? Yeah. This is Night Gwen. This is what if Gwen Stacy was Nightwing in Squadron Supreme and serving their version of Batman. And thanks, I hate it. The DC fanboy in me can't stand this, but there's so much bad with this. They take a certain Venom-themed character and they turn him into something gross. You'll have to see. Yeah, you won't. Anyways, so other than that, it's okay. I mean, I guess if you want to see their version of Nightwing starring Gwen Stacy in the Marvel Universe, you can get this. But again, all these side stories are just sort of designed to bring out the anger in you so that when they get their butt kicked, it feels good. It's okay. It's okay. It's not the best of all those side stories, I'll tell you that. Victor LaVille, Joy Guillong and Brittany Peer. I know I messed up your names. I'm sorry. This is Eve issue 2. And Cam, I almost skipped this week. I was almost like, Eve, I need to not read all my books. What a travesty that. You know what? No, I'm going to take this back. Eve is my indie pick of the week because what a travesty that would have been. Because I had the best time with Eve. It was really, really good. Yeah, it gives you a little bit more backstory as to what happened to the Earth and what happened to the people, and also how science decided to counter it and what brought Eve and the walking, living Teddy Ruxpin to the point of what they are. I'm not kidding. She has a living, walking robot, Teddy Ruxpin. That's what it is. It looks exactly like it. Let's just call it Teddy Ruxpin. Anyways, is it good? Yeah, it's great. The art is amazing. The storyline is amazing. I can't believe I almost picked that World War II book over this, and then I saw that Eve was in the stack. I almost skipped this week. I don't know why. I just wasn't feeling it. I'm fully on board now. I didn't really like the first one. I don't know what it was. This is amazing. So we get a little bit more backstories to what happened to the world, and the art's great, and the story's great. Definitely pick it up. Indie pick of the week. Okay, Zub, Smith, Hoagie, Jr., and Silva. Conan the Barbarian. Now, Conan has been tasked with returning a sword to its birthright, and that sword, unfortunately, is cursed, so it's given him all types of problems trying to get it to the eastern lands. But we're going to meet an emperor that is supposedly a literal god. And, oh no, tragedy is going to strike. What do you think that tragedy is?
Yes, it was something magic.
If you had to guess, Conan meets an emperor, what do you think happens?
He has a magic amulet.
No, oddly enough, none of you are correct.
Someone who the person in power was a blood god.
No, that would have been a good guess. It's something that I thought was a little tropey. I've seen it before, but I'm going to tell you, I still had a good time. I did see it coming, the twist. I saw it coming a mile off. But it's actually pretty fun, and I love Marvel's having their hands back on Conan and giving us their take on Conan. It's been great. Who's writing that? Zub. Okay. Next is Zdarsky Mendoza. I'm going to pronounce names wrong, I know it. And Angiolini. This is Justice League Last Ride. Now, I hated the beginning of this last run because they had Superman mad at Batman for and John Johns for something that happened in another mission. And the world was a very dark and different world with a different Justice League. And yeah, it's dark and different. Darkseid is making a play for Oa? Yeah. Darkseid's trying to get that power of will.
It sounds like something that happened in Justice League Dark Apocalypse.
Yeah. Did it?
The movie, yeah, he destroyed Oa.
Oh, that's right. Okay. So that's what's happening in this world. Is it our Justice League? No, it's not. I would say it's not made in continuity, but it's still considered canon in the greater Omniverse. However, I was hard on the first book. I didn't like the first book very much at all. I loved this one. I was blown away with the storyline. The twists were good. I had a good time. There was a lot of character growth. The art was great. There were times where things happened, and I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to have happen. Plus, you get Lobo being Lobo and quite hysterical at times, and I always have a good time with that character. So Justice League, Last Ride, I say give it another chance. If you didn't like the first one, maybe give the second one a chance. You'll probably love it. I did. Next is another book that got totally munched in our shipment. It's so bad. And that is Eastman, Campbell, and Patterson, and we're talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, issue number 117. We're doing a bit more of the Mutant Town stuff. And Lita is still there with the time staff trying to change the timeline and make the mutants not fall apart and not separate. And she might have succeeded. But while leaving, I'm going to tell you a tiny spoiler. She says, be nice to Uncle Saki when he reappears. And it took me a minute to realize that's Oroku Saki. That's the Shredder. Now, the Shredder has had his own redemption arc in Shredder in Hell, which was actually kind of touching. So we're going to see how this plays out. But yeah, the Shredder might be allies with the Turtle. There's all types of weird. I mean, Splinter led the Foot Clan literally last year. Anyways, so don't skip this TMNT stuff. It's so good right now. Next is am I coming to the end? How am I coming to the end of this? I can't. I'm missing some DC books. I'm missing a lot of DC books. My throat is going. I need something to drink. I haven't got anything here. Let's just go. Let's power through. Wonder Woman, Clunan, Conrad Moore, and Von Villain. This is Fate of the Valkyries. This is Wonder Woman in Norse gods, and we all know that she doesn't actually belong to the Norse gods, so there's problems. And apparently she's got to get to Olympus, and there might be a certain person in play named...
Does this rhyme with Thor Bogenson?
No, well, yeah, he's in play, but there's somebody else in play. It's going to be kind of spoilery. I don't know if I should say it. I won't say it. There's a certain villain in play that is kind of cool, but doesn't like his villain name. Yeah, I didn't see that coming, and I was kind of surprised that I didn't see that coming. So Wonder Woman is a must-read this week, 773. Not my pick of the week for DC. Pretty close. Next is Tom King, George Fornes, Dave Stewart. Rorschach. This Rorschach story is so damn weird. Robert Redford is the president running for another election. The world is definitely changed. We know it's the Watchmen universe. And Rorschach keeps being supposedly reborn, but might be people being brainwashed by this girl known as the Kid. There's so much weirdness and moving parts, and it's very typical Tom King. I'm having a good time with it. I think you will too. Don't jump in on that one, though. You will be confused. Trust me. Todd Sinani, Oleg Okanev, and we're talking about Rabid World. This is a zombie story. Full stop. A zombie story. Full stop. Nothing new here. It's okay. I like zombie stories, but nothing mind-blowing in that one. Next is Tinian March Prianto. We're talking about the Joker. It says also featuring Punchline. So did Punchline frame Joker for that Arkham Asylum attack? I think she did. Because all these keep saying featuring Punchline, but we haven't seen her yet. So I think I just figured it out. It's Punchline that did that. Anyways, Joker was framed for killing Bane. Bane's daughter is now Bane, although somebody called her She-Bane in this, which I think is not a good name. Let's not go with that. Let's just call her Bane. I actually like Bane's daughter in this role, and it's a very good detective story, but it's Gordon being... There is a literal point where Gordon is stuck between two villains fighting, and he's like, I am so far out of my element here. It's great. So Joker is going to be my pick of the week for DC. I loved it. The art is amazing. The story is amazing. This issue in particular really, really hooked me, and I love the other two too. But more importantly, we get a Bane that is totally different that I'm really loving. Next is Tamaki Bogdanovich, Glapion, and Belair, and we're talking about Batman Detective Comics. Look, I'm going to sum this up for you real fast. Batman's been framed for murder that he didn't commit. How many times have we seen this? A lot. Batman's been framed for a murder he didn't commit. Okay. Detective Comics, I'm a huge Batman fan, but that one didn't hook me. Taylor, Kubert, Hope, Anderson, Batman Detective. Oh, man. Guess what, guys? Bruce Wayne's been framed for a murder he didn't commit. That's right. These are two different books with similar titles with the exact same premise. What is going on here, DC? Not great. Oh, what did I say was my DC pick of the week? The Joker?
I thought it was going to be something else.
It's something else. I've changed my mind. The Joker book is so good. It's like neck and neck, but I forgot that I had this book. So this book here is going to be my pick of the week. N.K. Jemisin, Jamal Campbell, to include a Jen Bartel cover that is choice and is mine. I'm not giving it up for anyone. This is mine now. Pick of the week for DC is definitely Far Sector. Look, okay, Sojourner Mullen, Far Sector herself, with her own special Lantern Corps ring and her own premise, has been the best storyline. And look, as the biggest Lantern fanboy in this shop, 9 days out of 10, I'm going to have to tell you that Jo is now my favorite Lantern Corps member, and that should tell you a lot about this story.
Your favorite Lantern.
She's my favorite now.
She beat Lawfully.
She beat Jon Stewart, Hal Jordan. No, not Larfleeze. I'm talking Green Lanterns.
Okay, Green Lantern.
Green Lanterns.
That's why
Okay? No, Larfleeze is still my man.
Okay.
But my favorite Green Lantern Corps member is definitely Joe
That's
Miller.
why I had such strong.
Yeah. No. She's amazing. This character has had so much growth. As far as like figuring out who's behind things and throwing a punch when it needs to happen, I love Jo Mullein. She's amazing. This storyline was outstanding. The art was brilliant. Of course, it's Jamal Campbell. Of course, the art was brilliant. The story was great. So my pick of the week, it's a wrap-up. I know it's a wrap-up, and you don't want to jump in here, but believe me, you do not want to skip out on Far Sector. It is out friggin' standing. That's my pick of the week. Okay, Joker's a close second, but yeah, Far Sector. Future State, Gotham. I still hate it. I don't know. The second story, which is the story of like the new Batman and his sidekick Robin, which I think is his little sister.
Oh,
I'm liking that story. That's selling it on me, but I'm a big, giant Red Hood fan, and that Red Hood story sucks. And granted, it's him trying to go back to the Bat family after he's betrayed them and he's helping out the big bad, the magistrate. Whatever. I don't like it. And I don't know, why is it black and white when the rest of Future State was in color? It just feels unfinished to me. And I want to see that Red Hood, man. So I don't know. It's okay. Scott Snyder, Raphael Albuquerque, Dave McCaig, American Vampire 1976. The last issue, we saw the main character go into a bunker and essentially take cover and say he was going to sit this one out. And wow, the ending of this was just amazing, and it's leading to the final fight in the last issue. And oh my God, I'm so sad that I've missed out on American Vampire until now. I've missed out on some good legends, apparently. Scott Snyder, man, this is outstanding. Out friggin' standing, Snyder. Great, amazing, wonderful. Come get it. DC Pride. Look, these are DC Pride stories, and frankly, anything with Alan Scott in it is always going to be something that I love. Alan Scott gets a story in here. You get Pied Piper in here, but it's Pied Piper. Cam, you said this is another universe? You think?
No, it depends on what story.
I don't know. The Pied Piper story is weird. He's got a sidekick named the Drummer Boy or something that I haven't seen before.
Pied Piper's a villain.
Yeah, Pied Piper's a villain.
He's a Flash villain. I know that for sure.
Okay, so Pied Piper, I have real issues with Pied Piper, right? Because Pied Piper, to me, feels like, first of all, okay, my wife is deaf. I love the deaf community. Pied Piper is a character that was originally deaf, and when he got his superpowers, it cured his deafness. Look, deafness is not something to be feared or cured, and people who are deaf are pretty happy being deaf. So that character is offensive for that reason. It bothers me. On top of that, he's technically the first gay character, which I don't know why you couldn't make the first gay character in DC's history be a hero. Why did you have to make it be a villain? Granted, Pied Piper has grown a lot and is no longer a villain, not in the sinister sense. So I do like that character now, but that character before has a pretty crappy past that people should be vocal about. So anyways, he's in here. I don't hate Pied Piper, keep in mind, but I love Alan Scott. There's a Harley and Poison Ivy story, because of course there is. Because look at this Jen Bartel cover. This Jen Bartel cover is amazing. Lahaina, do you want this Jen Bartel cover? Look at that. Look at that. It's Harley and Poison Ivy. My God. Lahaina wants DC Pride. Which cover do you want? We've got a few. But I couldn't stop with this cover because it's amazing. All the Pride stories are really, really good. Keep in mind, my criticism of Pied Piper as a character doesn't mean I disliked his story. I loved it. I had a good time with all of it. I think I already ordered it. Okay, we'll check. Did Lahaina get Pride?
I'm not sure.
We'll check after. We'll get it handled. Anyways, DC Pride, amazing, outstanding, and the art, the covers are just brilliant. But again, Jen Bartel, anything she does is outstanding. Outstanding. Jen Bartel could just make a blank and put her name, Jen Bartel, on it, and I would see a rainbow in that blank without it having anything on it.
Right.
I'm certain of it. It's the same thing we talk about Jenny Friesen, where She like Jen Bartel, you see a rainbow when you know you're not looking at a rainbow, and Jenny Friesen, you see a sunset when you know you're not looking at a sunset. It's like that's how they work. Batman Urban Legends, friggin' amazing for a lot of reasons. I love the Red Hood story, and I've talked about it for a few weeks. That Red Hood story was really, really good. Jason Todd encounters an orphan, and well, not an orphan. He's an orphan now because Jason Todd killed his dad because his dad was a drug dealer, giving the kid drugs. Yeah, I don't blame Jason Todd at all. So that happened. I love that story, but the kid actually said he wanted to be Blue Hood, which I hope we get that in the future somehow. But Batman's getting to the bottom of that, and we're going to see Red Hood do something we've never seen him do before, which is actually ask Batman for help. We've never seen that. That's never happened, ever. So something's gone dire. On top of that, look, I'm telling you, as a Red Hood fan, I love that first story, but I'm not a Grifter fan. And I didn't like that Grifter story at the end of, it was at the end of all the other issues. Wasn't hooked on it. What happens in this one was friggin' amazing. I think I love Grifter now. I laughed the whole way through that last story, and it was almost like do not skip type stuff. Wow, amazing, outstanding. You're going to see a fight between Deathstroke and Grifter that is all types of nonsense hysterical, involving betting and a bunch of other. Oh, God, it's good. So don't skip it. Batman Urban Legends, amazing book this week. And that's our show for this week. My throat is dying. I need to get something to drink, and I need to go home. I love you guys. I will see you next week. Anything else to add? I don't think so. Bye, guys. Thank you for joining us. Please like and subscribe because everything helps. Thank you. Bye-bye. I got to start saying that. We have, like, no subscribers because I never say that. Apparently, you're supposed to beg for that stuff.
Like